to everyone. Pozdrav svima. Academy of Arts from the University of Novi Sad, as the host of this conference, this year celebrates 50th anniversary. So this conference falls in the series of events organized to show the activities of the Academy. So let us start with work. You have received the book of abstracts and videos with presentations. The moderators of each session will facilitate the discussion. The first session will be in English, so our foreign participants can follow and discuss. I would like to give floor to Mrs. Bojana Škort to continue with plenary presentations.
Dear colleagues, I'm glad to talk to you about the environmental literacy in the context of art education. My name is Milica Marušić-Jablanović and I work at the Institute for Educational Research in Belgrade. And I'm here with my colleague Ivan Simić from the Faculty of Architecture, University of Belgrade. It is important to us first to address to the notion of environmental literacy. It can be defined as the capacity to perceive and interpret the relative health of environmental systems and take appropriate action to maintain, restore, or improve the health of those systems. It is very important for Serbia and students in Serbia to address to those problems and issues because Serbia is dealing with a lot of environmental problems and our environment and environmental health are greatly endangered. The environmental literacy is actually the expected outcome of environmental education. This is UNESCO definition. In the context of a Serbian education, of course, it should be the outcome of our education, but in our context, it is the outcome of multiple subjects, of different subjects. And we have the same attitude that it should also be the outcome of art education as well. There are four components of environmental literacy. They are ecological knowledge, environmental affect, cognitive skills, and behavior. So we could not say that one person is actually environmentally literate if they do not feel and worry about the nature, and if they cannot understand environmental problems and search for the proper solutions for those problems, or in case when they do not behave appropriately towards the environment. The role of art. We think that the role of art is great in facilitating environmental literacy. Actually, science education often neglects this affective aspect of literacy, meaning sensitivity, love for nature, and care for nature. Nevertheless, this environmental affect is far better predictor of behavior than knowledge is. The art has the power to present the beauty of the nature as well as its vulnerability and endangerment. It can warn us, it can present the problems, and it can wake us up. So the power of the art in this case is great. The art classes should be related with other subjects, of course, that are related directly to the environmental topics. These are biology in the first place. Then after chemistry and technical education as well, geography, and so on. The international and national framework of competencies also emphasize the environmental literacy. And European Commission has offered the Green Competencies Framework that are defined, and they find four competencies: embodied sustainability values, embracing complexity, envisioning sustainable futures, and acting for sustainability. Concerning our own framework, in our law on fundamentals of education system, we have educational goal to develop awareness of the importance of sustainable development, protection, and preservation of nature and the environment, and ecological ethics, protection and welfare of animals. Further on, there is the framework of competencies, general and inter-subject competencies. One of them is named the responsible attitude towards the environment. One of its indicators is the following. The student presents the understanding and readiness to engage in environmental protection, in resource management, in order not to endanger the possibility of future generations to satisfy their needs. So we can understand that our framework as well is focused on developing environmental literacy, not only the knowledge, but also this behavioral dimension. Still, if we really want to facilitate behavior, we must develop positive environmental affect. Because several studies have found that affect is actually a strong predictor of behavior. We must be aware and we must be sensitive for the problems if we expect to have the proper behaviors in case of children and, of course, the adults. The art classes do have a capacity to influence this affective dimension of environmental literacy. It was found by different researchers. They can encourage creativity in finding solutions to the existing problems. And they should meaningfully relate to the topics of other subjects, taking into consideration the reality of environmental problems. We should always start from the problems that exist in our environment and that are really important for the students we are talking to. The art classes have the potential to open space for expressing and analyzing the emotions. And these emotions can also be connected to the nature and the problems the nature is confronted with. So the role of art is important for students concerning environmental awareness, and artistic and creative activities are important tools that facilitate the emotional connection between people and places. The research finds that creative writing and literature and music and painting and photography, if they are utilized creatively in environmental education, can significantly contribute to achieving environmental goals. Therefore, we should never underestimate the possibility to emphasize the environmental sensitivity through art classes. And we should also understand that other subjects like biology or chemistry cannot really expect to touch upon this environmental affect as powerfully as art classes can. There are some important recommendations about the ways we can effectively learn about the environment. Of course, learning happens when the matter we learn about is relevant to us. It should be familiar to us, and it is the best if it is related to our immediate surrounding. If we want to achieve learning and change, the programs we offer should be related to the local context. They should include topics and places and materials that are offered in our surrounding. These are some principles of place-based learning that was shown to affect our behavior and to be really effective in facilitating environmental literacy. Learning about the environment should occur by exploring, by facilitating the sense of surprise and wonder and appreciation of the local area.
Now we have some positive examples of the good practice in Serbia. This first one is organized and facilitated by the Škogled organization. It is a summer school in elementary school in municipality of New Belgrade, of Novi Beograd, and it includes all the before mentioned art activities which are now applied in the space of the school garden. And the space of the school garden is now reactivated, and it is like there's some interventions applied in the space, and those are designed, some of the urban designed activities and intervention, like this plateau of the wooden decking, as you can see on the picture, as well as some kind of landscaping and improving the greenery of the school garden, and making it according to the principles of the placemaking. So the various art activities are included. As you can see, this is the music meeting with the musical artists, where kids are engaged in the actively creating song related to the topic of the school and the friendship. Also, there are some activities of sculpturing, of creating crafts, and some craftsmanship involved. Also, by using natural materials and using the natural surrounding and the tools for creating it. Also, there is a huge intervention in the space by the principles of creating a new landscape in the garden, and it is actively includes the principles of creating design, which is both useful and biologically enhances this place, but also it enhances aesthetically as well. So kids learn how to intervene in the complex environment, and how to create places, how to improve places, and how to create places by adding a new value and identity basically to it. The second example is related to the classroom work, but it is a specialized task which is actively engaging art and skill of creating art, which is devoted to preservation of environment and ecology, or let's say globally by the meaning of the whole global ecosystem. As you can see, teacher Borjana Vesic was really creative, and she gives a task for children to create, in this case, comics that have topics of how people generally can affect negatively on the natural environment. So, on the first example of the comic, as you can see, gradually how green and natural space easily became transformed into the completely urban environment, but urban in negative sense, where anything natural doesn't exist anymore. Everything is diminished and everything is covered by concrete and the buildings. And on the second comic, so you can see symbolically a human foot destroying a flower, which means which represents symbolically the attitude of humanity towards environment. Next example is related to also to art, and this art is put an impact of the biodiversity and of the beauty of the natural landscape and scenery, as this one on the first picture. Also, this is the close relation to natural events like a sunset or sunrise. Also, there is a topic of microplastics and plastics that are now filling and making like a big negative impact on oceans, on other environments. And also there is a picture of the whole earth thrown in the trash, which is also symbolic message to public. And also the wide topic of the plastics, which is now really actual. This is also really high achieved art, also on the topic of the earth, conservation of earth, dangers of pollution and everything. So some like this frog, endangered species on the earth, and also like connection that humans have with the living creatures. So we can now so now we can go to the next slide where we will explain how to learn effectively about the environment.
There are multiple research on how to achieve the effects, because we do not want only children to have information and to understand the situation. We also want them to be effective in their behavior towards the nature. If we want to have efficient teaching, people should use all their senses while learning, to actively explore, to experience, to make sense of their environment, and to have a sense of independence. It also includes movement. It includes not only watching, but also hearing and touching the things around us. We want to say that before drawing an oak, the students should touch the bark of the oak tree, observe the shape of its leaves, and hear the sound of the wind in the treetop. Further on, facilitating skills through problem solving and targeting the problems that affect the learners and the local community is also highly important and recommended. Developing the proposal of solutions requires creativity and exploring. And this is what is offered on the art classes. This is the place where students can be creative, and they can develop different solutions and design. In these classes, it is also possible to relate with other subjects and their contents and include multiple perspectives. Further on, it requires the cooperation of teachers of different subjects. We can propose that in the search for the environmental problems solutions, the teachers can correlate the contents of different subjects that support environmentally aware reasoning: biology, technical education, arts.
Yes, and now on the specific question in this research, it is the place of architecture in art classes. We research and find that the contest regarding to architectural design is covers several topics. First, it's about theory, then the need to shape places, use of buildings, construction materials and techniques, the most basic forms in architecture, styles in architecture, contemporary architecture and urban planning in the realization of architectural ideas, and also technical drawing perspective. Green topics of green architecture in art classes, it's actually in a way a fusion of the topics of art and ecology. The art teachers can participate in shaping the space and the school surrounding by actively creating art that respects the environmental preservation principles as part of place-based learning process. The interventions in the space should respect the needs of both humans and nature. The art classes offer space for expressing our impressions on the architectural design in the context of environmental conservation. And it is necessary to reflect on both aesthetic and environmental dimension of architecture, and that is where the architecture is a good common ground of meeting art and ecology. So now we will go to conclusions.
Through artistic expression, it is possible to bring closer to an individual not only the beauty of the nature, but also the extent of its destruction, to emphasize the effects of inadequate actions, but also to explore the solutions. So the art has the potential to warn, to intimidate, and to encourage. This potential should be widely used in our education. In this sense, the contents of art culture should be integrated with the environmental sciences contents, so that the overall contribution of teaching could really aim to have effects on various components of environmental literacy, not only knowledge, but also the feelings towards the nature and to the fear for the future of people and the nature. Relying on all the commitments we have taken, we must integrate ecological principles into various subjects, not only science. In order to achieve effects, teaching should be devoted to a cognitive dimension, meaning knowledge and cognitive skills, affective and behavioral domain of environmental literacy. The art classes can and should contribute to environmental literacy development. It is important for the children to know the characteristics of the materials they use in the class, to consider where the materials come from and where they end their life. It can be discussed in the art classes as well as in biology classes, for example. To think in divergent manner, to reflect on their feelings towards the nature. This is also the place, the art classes are the place where we can reflect on our feelings towards not only the art, but also the nature that is presented in the artworks. It is important for art teachers to understand the use and the power of art in developing the environmental awareness and sensitivity. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, dear presenters. We enjoyed your presentation. Now I have a question for the organizing team. What would all of us prefer to do now? To develop a conversation upon this presentation, or to postpone it after the second presenter? Tanya, what would you prefer?
Yes, Vojna, I think the second presenter is not here with us, so I think we can talk about this work that we heard in previous video.
Okay, if any of us participants now have a comment or some questions, that would be welcome now. So please feel free to ask the questions.
If I can make the first comment, I enjoyed really very much this presentation, and definitely art has the power to point to ecological problems, and this is of course one of the most important discussions that we have in society today. So I would like to ask authors. You gave a nice link between art education, ecological literacy, and architecture. And also, I like the idea of pointed out the importance of place-based learning. So I would like to ask you, do you have some experiences with learning activities in devastated natural environment as the place of learning activities? So a little bit maybe shocking, but do you know about that kind of experience, yours or someone else?
I have experience because I do not work as a teacher, but I have participated in other teachers' work. And there is one especially talented teacher in Bačka Topola, because we have conducted the research on environmental literacy, and his classroom was rated the best. So they did the best on our questionnaire. And he has this kind of experiences. They do offer to the children the place-based learning. They have a beautiful schoolyard with a classroom outside, and we also have organized the actions of planting the trees together with children. And he does take them outside, and they do study the materials they find there. They know about every pollutant and every factory in their place, how they pollute and what should be done. So people, maybe it's easier in smaller communities, in places that are not as large as Belgrade. But this teacher is special because he has his previous experience in his career working in agriculture. So he was in contact with the local community, and he did not come straight to the classroom, but he also has this previous experience. He knows the problems of his community, and he is participating not only as the teacher, but he is participating as active citizen. And then he can inform the children about all the good things and the mistakes the local community is making. I think this is the initiative of a teacher. It can be really fruitful, and I think that this practical experience he had previously is helping him to be a really effective biology teacher.
Okay, thank you, Milica. Does anyone else have some question or comment? Maybe I can ask if I'm allowed.
Bojana, our colleague Maria from Malaysia, she wants to say something.
Okay.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Good evening from Malaysia. Thank you for your presentation. I am a teacher at an international school, and I would like to ask, what's the impact on students after the implementation of this project? And what metrics, what ways did the teachers use in order to measure the impact on students? Did they use, for example, the technology or some questionnaires?
We are at this moment now. We have just finished the first year of the project, so we plan on the second year, when it is over. We plan to implement some workshops with teachers to offer them some new tasks they could use in their classes, in order to help them change their practice a little bit. What I know at this moment, we did many things to encourage the children who have presented a positive environmental attitude. Children who do have knowledge about environmental problems and who are motivated. We have already offered them possibility to be to offer some interviews, to plant the trees together with us and with one international expert who came to visit the school. Somehow we wanted to reward them for the good work. Not only them, but also this teacher, because the teachers who are the stars, the teachers who are motivated in these really difficult circumstances in Serbia, it is not easy to be a teacher in our country. No, it is not attractive anymore. I think it's a task of a scientific community to motivate and to promote these teachers. So I think this is giving them this kind of support is one of the effects of the project. And after the workshops, we want also to leave these materials so they will be open and everybody can approach them and use them in their practice. But it's waiting.
Thank you so much.
I think we also have the other colleague from China. So,
hi everybody, I'm Effie.
Okay, do we have some other question? Because we are slightly over the time schedule.
Oh.
If we are going to, it was predicted for 10:30. So are we going to prolong the discussion, or are we going to announce a second plenary presenter? It's up to you.
I think we need to give a word to our dear colleague from China, and then we will go on the session 1. So please, Eftihia, you have a word.
Hi. Hi from Shanghai, everybody. Just a quick question. You mentioned that the projects start from a problem, to identify a problem, and then we try to solve it. Mm-hmm. So I'm curious to know, is the problem discovered by the teachers or the scientific community, and then the task is just given to the students? Or do the students have the freedom, or like a project base, where they can from a problem, find some other questions, and then go into discovery mode. And
Ще имаш neki tvoj primjer? Kako ti radiš?
Mislim, možeš, pa ovo je baš vezano za
It should be, we always must start also from the curriculum and from the content that is obligatory for us. It should be the problem that is what theory says. It should be the problem that is present in our community. It should be something that is for children not far away, that is relevant for them. So we can, for example, talk about some factory that is producing products made of meat and how they pollute and what can be done in order to prevent the damage. This is they can discuss about it. They can also what is really effective. It is very effective if they can do something by themselves. If they can produce any kind of at least a small change. This is what really is making impression, and it is making change. We were discussing with children about the things that facilitate creation of environmental identity. What helps children feel that they are environmental protectors, and we were also then you hear about the role models, you hear about parents, about good teachers, but they also mention the things like we were cleaning the schoolyard, we were doing this, doing that, we were constructing some bridge made of wood. So the experiences of solving at least some small problem that is in the local area and that was done by themselves, this is something that can help us relate to the place and makes us feel as environmental protector. So it sounds difficult, but somehow I think because unfortunately we do have a lot of problems, we can find something that is close to us and discuss what it is causing, how it can be solved, and they can at least offer solutions. Maybe not solve, but they can say, okay, I can show in my presentation, this factory should do this, this, and this. And it is important for this and this reason. Is it okay?
great. Yeah, great. Thank you.
Ευχαριστώ.
Wow, barakallah.
Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. Any comment and discussion is welcome. Since we have free time and there is enough chance for everybody to give a comment or to have some question, we heard some important questions about curricula and activity and what else should be added to this effort of making people aware of ecological changes. Does anybody else have some comment or some question? Okay, Sanja.
Thank you, Bojana. So I want to congratulate for your courage because you open Milica and Ivan, you open very important problem, and this kind of educational activism is also important. So as a teacher who work with students, future teacher of arts, I have a question for you. In which part or in which way we can develop the teachers' ecological competencies through academic education? What is your suggestion? How to include this problem through subjects? We have our accredited program for education future teachers, and usually it is the package of methodical, didactic, pedagogical, and psychological subjects, but in which part we can include, what is your suggestion, how to develop their skills to prepare for practice and for the school? Thank you.
Well, if I can join and explain another research that Milica and I conduct, and it's related to environmental literacy in architecture of the future architects. So we are now currently examining how can we change the curricula and the whole program of master and basic studies in architecture, and how we can deal with exactly the same problem, how we can raise the level and quality of environmental literacy and environmental, let's say, identity in each student when he or she finish and get diploma, that basic level, what it is, and how we can make it higher than it is now. So there are several, we are in the process, but there are several ways how we can do it. First way is to make it disperse in every kind of each group of subjects. For example, architecture design, urban design, or technologies, or statics, construction, and etc. In the current structure of the subjects, we can disperse environmental, ecological knowledge and make it relative, related to architecture design, related to urban design, related to construction, and make it as a system coherent, make it as we can say, like spiral curriculum learning. We have like basic subjects in the first year, but each group of subjects has its own ecological fragment, but they are related, they are like sensitive to what they are learning in urbanism and architecture. So we are making a really coherent system, and gradually we are making it more complex, of course, like in first year of studies and then master studies. So we are now, and that is our starting point of maybe our like hypothesis that we want to confirm via our surveys that we are conducting now, that spiral well of curriculum and disperse knowledge of ecology in each of the current subject structure is maybe a way how to let's say secure that knowledge to be high. But those are not yet how to say confirmed. We are like in the middle of the research. Right now it is a plan to make a survey, and we will give a questionnaire to more than 100 master students. They are graduate students in our Faculty of Architecture in Belgrade, and we are really interested to see what is the current level of ecological literacy, and we will try to relate to the current structure of subject they are intending. So we will be relating it, and maybe Milica can explain you more about the methodology now of that research.
There is one important thing that we were discussing about, because if we want to improve something in school, first we have to improve something at the education of the teachers. This is actually the beginning. What happens in school is the end. It is necessary, first of all, for our faculties to open for people from other areas. This is what they were doing in architecture. They had some people coming from a faculty of biology because they needed to teach professors of architecture about what are the necessary conditions for the mammals in the city in order to survive, to have the places where they can live.
It's not like systematic approach. For example, I'm conducting that methodology in my elective course called Ecopolis, on the master studies, and I have like a freedom to make it like that because, for example, I'm always calling the visiting professors from different fields of biology, of ecology, of different ecological disciplines, so they are informing and they are learning students what they should know before they are
tackling the problems and solutions. But that's just a pilot, like a pilot and single subject experience that I have on my elective course, and it's not systematic approach, and that is a problem, I think.
One of the answers would be if we teach people who are going to be art teachers one day, we should discuss with them about the materials they use. For example, we can also talk about the textile, how it is made, how we make our clothes, how it gets degraded when we throw it away. What are the ways we can use it again? Why we should not buy everything we like, even if we have money. These topics should be talked about through all the curriculum, from the beginning until the end. We should always have it on our mind. It is now not just aesthetical question. It is the question of survival and of ethics. If we want to be ethically aware, and if we want to be moral citizens, to say so, we must think about this in a curriculum of every faculty, beginning from the art to technical education, social science, and so on.
Thank you. I totally agree with you. I listened very carefully, so we have a similar approach, and I think we don't need to have some separate subject about this problem. We just need to have an interdisciplinary approach.
It should be in every subject.
Every subject.
Should be part of every subject.
We have one very interesting subject. It calls, if I'm right, method of creative approach in learning and the project-based learning. So through this kind of approach with small projects, we can include this very important problem. And through the ecological awareness, yes, we can develop many other competencies. So I think it is the most important aim in education now.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Okay, we are thankful for this valuable discussion. We still have some time. Maybe I can ask a little question. You mentioned in your presentation that ecological knowledge is not just a knowledge. It is related with emotional development and sensor images, and there is a strong motivational aspect in this. But in this moment, we are faced with an educational system which is strictly focused on the intellectual work and intellectual development. And according from my point of view, I'm a psychologist, there is not enough space for children motivational and personal, individual, emotional aspect of development within a standard curriculum. As we can see, our curriculum is very resistant to changes, and what is happening is that it is becoming bigger and bigger every year. That means the burden of a child and the teacher is becoming heavier and heavier every year. So in this, how should I say, overwhelming school curriculum, how do you see space for ecological awareness? How do you see where is the future? But not to become another burden to teachers, to children, to other school environment.
Well, I think Unfortunately, it is a matter of imagination, skill, and of course, competence of the teacher. Almost in every lesson, we can say something about the environment. For example, I was watching some biology classes recently, and the biology teacher, she was talking about the food and how should the children what kind of meals they should have. This is also a place where we can discuss about the environment. What do you do with the leftovers? It can take 3 minutes of your class. What do you do when you peel the skin of the cucumber? I don't remember the word, it doesn't matter. What do you do with it? If you throw it in the garbage, is it causing a methane pollution? If you throw it and make compost, then you can feed the ground, the earth, and you can use it somehow. We just don't have this in our mind. Even the people who teach biology, they stick to the curriculum. Okay, now I have 3 classes on June devoted to environment, and I talk about environment. No, you do not talk about environment on your 3 classes in June. You talk about it in every lesson. Because then, and you ask questions, and of course you take the children outside. It is ideal if you can plant the garden and then watch how your tomato is growing, and if children can eat these tomatoes what they have planted. This is what is the most fruitful. But it is important that we think in different manner. We also if we talk about architecture, what we do with the old buildings. If there are some buildings in our neighborhood, children can go and visit them and then discuss in the art classes and make some maquette and discuss how this building can be reused. If we crush it and make the garbage of it, how long will it stay somewhere in the nature? For hundreds of years. But if we make reuse of it and make a new purpose of this building, what we gain? It can be a kind of project in the art classes as well, related to architecture.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. We have some more time, so please, Sanya, feel free to use it.
I have suggestion. We can make a short break, 10 minutes, and then to start with the session 1 in 11, if you agree, and then we have the other participants, and I can't wait to hear and to talk about these very interesting problems that you give us through your work. So if you agree to make a short break.
Thank you very much for your questions.
Thank you.
Esteemed professors, dear colleagues, my name is Maria Loizu, and I'm honored to stand before you today as the Year 4 homeroom teacher at Eton House International School, Malaysia, passionate about advancing inclusive pedagogy through art. As we gather here at the International Conference on Contemporary Methods and Concepts of Education in the Field of Art, hosted in Serbia on the 24th and 25th of May 2024, I'm excited to delve into the topic of advancing inclusive pedagogy through art, strategies for cultivating creativity and embracing diversity in primary international schools. As we turn our attention to the second slide of my presentation, I'm eager to provide you with an overview of the teaching experience, the importance of inclusive pedagogy in an international school setting, The teaching experience outlined in this presentation centers around the Year 4 students and explores innovative teaching methods that incorporate project-based and STEM learning approaches. Through drawing, performance, creations, and experiments, students engage in interdisciplinary themes that promote self-expression, critical thinking, and creativity in problem solving. In an international school setting, embracing inclusive pedagogy is essential. Our objective today is to examine how art education can contribute to fostering such an inclusive learning environment. We aim to explore practical strategies and insights for educators to implement in their classrooms, ensuring that every student has the opportunity to thrive in a supportive and inclusive environment. Through teaching and learning observations, we have highlighted the importance of providing opportunities for students to express themselves through various artistic mediums, collaborate with peers in a diverse environment. Allow me to offer a glimpse into the context of Eton House International School Malaysia, where diversity thrives and inclusive pedagogy flourishes. Nestled in the vibrant heart of Malaysia, Eton House International School embodies a rich tapestry of cultures, languages, and backgrounds. Our student body represents a mosaic from over 30 nationalities, creating a richly diverse learning environment that celebrates cultural exchange and global citizenship. Inclusivity isn't just a buzzword. It's ingrained in our ethos. We embrace diversity as a strength, fostering an environment where every student feels valued, respected, and empowered to succeed throughout the learning experience. In an inclusive pedagogy, we celebrate the individuality of each learner, ensuring that all voices are heard and all needs are met. In inclusive pedagogy, we are committed to fostering innovative teaching methods that stimulate creativity, ignite critical thinking, and encourage collaboration among students. The transdisciplinary themes of the IB Primary Years program sets the foundation for interdisciplinary learning experiences for our students. So to delve deep into real-world issues throughout 6 themes. While honing their skills in science, mathematics, language arts, and different types of art. Whether through hands-on projects, creative performances, or collaborative experiments, our students engage in meaningful learning experiences that equip them with lifelong learning skills and knowledge that they need to thrive in an ever-changing world. I am delighted to share with you a glimpse into the Year 4 class where diversity thrives and learning knows no bounds. Our group of 20 students originates from 11 different nationalities, representing a rich blend of mother tongues, cultures, and perspectives in our dynamic learning environment. In navigating this rich mosaic of diversity, we have embraced a methodology of teaching practices centered around the 6 transdisciplinary themes. These themes serve as the backbone of the curriculum, weaving seamlessly through 6 subjects throughout the academic year by providing students with holistic learning experiences that transcend cultural and linguistic boundaries. Firstly, I would like to share the inspiring journey of self-expression undertaken by the Year 4 students through the transdisciplinary theme How We Express Ourselves. Using various mediums of art, our students embraced embarked on a transformative exploration of self-expression. They delved into different genres of music, acting out emotions and then translating them into vibrant vision boards, capturing the essence of their feelings. Intrigued by the enigmatic Vincent van Gogh, students immerse themselves in his life and art, leading to the creation of captivating collages inspired by his iconic masterpiece Starry Night. Through their unique perspectives, they breathed new life into his timeless work. Embracing technology, students utilize the doodle art application to unleash their creativity, leading to a captivating wall gallery exhibition. Here, they demonstrated critical thinking skills, carefully selecting pieces for display and providing insightful feedback for their peers. Throughout this journey, the students not only hone their artistic abilities, but also deepen their understanding of self-expression and its profound impact on connecting individuals and communities. They've learned that art transcends language barriers, offering a universal language through which we can convey our deepest emotions and thoughts. Next, I'm excited to share with you the innovative journey of the students as they explore the transdisciplinary theme where we are in place and time through the lens of creativity and critical thinking. At first, the students worked in pairs and individually, applying and improving their research skills using tablets to find out relevant information of changes of technological advancements over the years, centuries. Then, the whole class created a timeline of technology showing the changes of different items, for example, how MRI scanners or computers changed. In plenary, students develop their critical thinking skills to set the dates in an order starting from 40,000 BC until today. Additionally, throughout this engaging project, students delved into the technological changes of past and present technologies in the house while envisioning with creativity innovations to address real-life problems. Through various mediums of art, they explore futuristic solutions to everyday challenges, envisioning advancements like smart toothbrushes and smart water taps that can read users' thoughts of their needs. By the end of this project, the young inquirers and innovators had not only cultivated critical thinking skills, but also leveraged their presentation skills, showing their imaginative ideas while building confidence and flair, welcoming peers' feedback. During the recent Maths and Science Week, all upper primary students had the opportunity to cultivate various skills and attributes. Thriving in a diverse and inclusive environment, the students fostered their communication skills, working in pairs towards a common goal. The challenge was to construct the tallest, most stable and impressive paper tower within a time frame. By applying their engineering knowledge, developing problem-solving skills, showing resilience and growth mindset to overcome setbacks and explore innovative solutions to optimize their tower's performance, all students enjoyed their journey and reflected on their design process, identifying areas for improvement. Through this STEM activity, the students were engaged into a holistic, inquiring learning experience. Here, I am delighted to present the remarkable journey of the students as they explore the transdisciplinary theme, Sharing the Planet. The students embarked on an exploration of life in nature, recognizing the vital interconnectedness of water for survival. Working collaboratively in multi-level groups, they eagerly embraced their roles as inquirers and critical thinkers, conducting experiments on water processes such as evaporation, condensation, and water transport. As the unit concluded, the students were tasked with proving or disproving the central idea that life depends on water for survival. It was truly impressive to witness their application of knowledge as they designed and conducted their own experiments, meticulously collecting and analyzing data to draw meaningful conclusions. Furthermore, within the transdisciplinary theme Who We Are, the Year 4 students developed essential skills through interviewing their parents about family disagreements. Through this engaging project, the students worked towards developing their communication skills by formulating thoughtful interview questions and actively listening to their parents' perspectives. It is worth to mention that they cultivated empathy as they sought to understand how diverse family beliefs and values are linked with people's responsibilities while making choices. Utilizing interviewing techniques, the students improved their critical thinking skills as they analyzed interview responses. Mastering the art of interviewing, the students took part in role-play scenarios about disagreements using some of their parents' techniques. Overall, this integrated learning experience promoted a profound reflection and self-expression. As we draw our presentation to a close, let me showcase the culmination of students' endeavors. Through the transdisciplinary theme How We Organize Ourselves, captivating projects help students explore different government styles so to design their own country. When the fact file of Greece was presented, the students were enthusiastic to contribute into acting out and creating a text map to enhance memorization of the grammar and vocabulary used. So, when creating their own fact file, they had already mastered the way of how to. By utilizing tablets, the students excelled in research skills, looking for information about their favorite country's government style, geography, and history of leadership. They mastered their critical thinking skills to choose relevant information and design a fact file. Embracing creativity, the students designed their own countries by crafting flags, developing government structures, laws, and services that reflected their values. This process cultivated decision-making skills as the students carefully considered and justified their choices. Collaboration flourished as students engaged in meaningful discussions with peers. Moreover, the project empowers students to exercise their democratic right through the voting process, experiencing firsthand the principles of democracy and civic engagement. Last but not least, I urge our colleagues to consider the profound impact of incorporating all mediums of art into every lesson to enhance learning effectiveness. By integrating arts from performance, interviewing, and communicating to designing, experimenting, can cultivate creativity and ignite critical thinking skills. A student's ability to think outside the box and approach problems in innovative ways. Embracing diversity through art allows students to express themselves authentically by fostering empathy. Together, let us harness the transformative power of art to create inclusive and dynamic learning environments where every student can thrive and become a lifelong creative learner. Thank you all for your attention.
Thank you, Maria. It was very fruitful to hear this from you. And now I'm opening the discussion. If any of us have some questions, comments, please feel free to say it now. Okay, Sanja.
Okay. Regards to Maria again. Thank you for sharing your experience as a teacher in international school. Everything that we saw, it is very available for us to compare what is similar and what is different. So I'm very happy that you have also the awareness about interdisciplinarity as a main goal. So I just want to ask you, what is the differences between your experience in the Cyprus environment, educational environment, where you are come from, and Malaysia programs and the concept of education? Thank you, Maria.
It's my pleasure, Sanja, dear Bojana, being with you today and presenting this work here, and giving me the opportunity to express my experience. I would like to say that the school that I work here is an international. So it's international, so it's totally different from the public sector in Cyprus. Here we are free as educators to use the transdisciplinary method throughout the whole curriculum. So it's easy for us to implement any type of art and ignite our students' creativity in order to be problem solvers. As I said, to think out of the box. It means to release their stress and think different ways into how to reach the solution. On the contrary, in Cyprus, we usually use, and we have to use, a lot of books. So we do not have this flexibility to work throughout projects, to see students' needs, to see today's needs for the society, for the future, and to implement them. So I think that it's a good suggestion for the public sector in whatever country, and for the practitioners to decide to let the educators free to implement art in order tomorrow's citizens to be more creative in order to see changes as the environmental literacy we heard earlier. It's not easy. I know that it takes years, but it depends on us, and I am grateful that I am here working in an international setting.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you.
Thank you. Milice, you look like someone who wants to ask, is it okay? It's just an impression. No.
Well, yes. I would like to ask Maria. Maybe it's just I allow that she gives some her hypothesis. Maybe she doesn't know exact answer. But is there something also? Is it a matter of the culture, of the tradition? Because you have the same problem that Serbia has when we talk about Cyprus. Do you expect if we make that kind of changes, if we manage to make our curricula a bit more permissive, to say so, do you expect that citizens and schools will accept that? Or do you understand? Maybe it also comes. It's related also to our national mentality a little bit.
Yeah, I understand, Milica. Thank you so much for your question, because it's fruitful for everyone. I believe that, yeah, in Europe, people might have the same culture. However, it depends on the changes, how, let's say, step by step will be introduced to people. Like, for example, what happened in 2019, 2020 with COVID being, let's say, isolated. So technology and online meetings and online work came up. So I think it's the same. If you're going to present a new way of working or teaching, then you have to show the potentials of having some benefits. And I think that we have to call parents to our schools to see what's the benefit in students' behavior, so their child's behavior, to see that their child's knowledge increases, there isn't any difference. We can also have, let's say, assessments, summative assessments, so they will be glad to join this type of schools and curriculums.
Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Milica, for your comments. Do we have some other questions or comments? Please feel free.
Thank you, Bilan. Yeah, I'm just curious to know, Maria, what's your favorite moment when comparing these two different ways of teaching? Maybe it was a unit of work, but at the same time, as an educator, what is the biggest benefit you get? Because it's not easy recreating curriculums, right? So,
Thank you so much, FT. The first thing that came up to my mind is the happy faces of every children, of every child, when they explore something without having, let's say, the pressure that they have to write at all times to fill in textbooks, and they are happy to write at the beginning of each unit what they would like to explore, what they know, what they don't know, what they would like to get to know, in order to let the teachers find the way to create activities in order to gain this knowledge. So yeah, it's the knowledge and the happy faces of my children.
Thank you. Thank you all. Now we can proceed with our presentations, and we will have some additional time at the end, maybe if somebody else wants to comment or to say something. I will now announce our second presenter. This is Titia Gavril, BA, music teacher, music pedagogy, from International School YKK Pao School, Shanghai, China. I hope I read it correctly. And she will now tell us something more about her issue, holistic and personalized education, igniting curiosity, creativity, and intrinsic motivation for lifelong learning. Please.
Hello, everybody. I'm Eftichia Gavril, and I'm thrilled to be here with you today. I'm a holistic leader, a musician, a passionate advocate for education and safeguarding, especially for young children, teens, and women worldwide. My mission is to turn teachers into educators, to break down outdated educational practices, and to dig deeper into the psychology and the neuroscience of understanding the individual, social, and intellectual development of each learner, whilst fostering the notion of cultivating intrinsic lifelong creative learning and ultimately enabling learners to find and be their most authentic and true self. By profession, I've been the head of music in several well-known international schools in various countries, and for the last decade I've been exploring, creating, and developing curricula that are as diverse and unique as the students I've been teaching. From the UK to Singapore, China, then Cyprus, and now I'm fortunate enough to be back in China and more specifically Shanghai, a city that is well known as a technological hub, where the passion and drive for innovation, the need for adaptability and creativity is at its peak, and where educational development is thriving, especially in international, bilingual, or private schools, institutes, and universities. I've had the honor to collaborate with incredible educators from around the world, including the likes of Professor Alex Ruthman from NYU and his team. Together, we've created some truly special projects, and with my various teams and departments, we have successfully revamped music curricula to make learning more personalized, creative, tech-friendly through the art of experiential, ongoing, personalized teaching and learning. I am here today to share my passion and vision for holistic education with you, leading up to the online conferences hosted by Novi University on the 24th and 25th of May 2024. So, what does holistic education really mean? How does it look like in the fields of arts? But most importantly, how does it promote the notion of intrinsic lifelong learning? And how can we as teachers elevate our status in becoming holistic educators and documenting the creative process of one's learning rather than the summative outcomes? So, let's dive in. Holistic education is a diverse approach aimed at fostering individuals beyond mere academic achievement. It acknowledges the diverse dimensions of humans' existence, including physical, emotional, social, intellectual, spiritual, and environmental aspects. Through experiential learning, critical thinking, and the integration of subjects beyond traditional academic boundaries, holistic education aims to cultivate well-rounded individuals capable of navigating life complexities with empathy, resilience, and purpose. It values individuality and seeks to nurture the holistic growth of individuals, emphasizing the importance of creativity, 21st century skills, critical thinking, collective responsibility, social-emotional intelligence, and ecological consciousness. By addressing these dimensions comprehensively, holistic education empowers individuals to thrive in a modern, dynamic, and interconnected world, fostering a deep understanding of themselves and their place within their wider community. This is where I have found inspiration and built the foundation of my curriculum development approach, which I like to call the 3 pillars. 1, 1-to-1, 1+2. We'll dive a little bit deeper into these pillars later on. In this presentation, I've included 2 videos that are really important in understanding the way I approach teaching and learning, as well as curriculum development, from a holistic point of view. You will find the links of both these videos on this PowerPoint slide, but also at the end of the presentation if you'd like to watch them in full later on. So the first video covers Ackerman's theory on the whole child, and how there are many aspects of human potential that grades cannot measure. Besides curiosity and intelligence, children may choose to develop creativity, passion, resilience, confidence, mindfulness, humor, and many other important traits. Edith Ackerman identifies 4 natural urges that drive our growth throughout childhood to adult life, from being me to being us, to the world around us and human creation. Each of these 4 urges can then be divided into 2 subcategories. The video goes on to examine this theory from the perspective of a young girl. The second video gives a great insight on Piaget's theory of cognitive development, illustrating the 4 stages that young learners have to conquer during this developmental journey. First, the sensory motor stage, Second, the pre-operational stage, and third, the concrete operational stage, and fourth, the formal operational stage. Now, how does all of this link more specifically into my way of thinking and implementing things? Well, first of all, it brings to my conscious mind the notion that each child's progress matters, and that I, as an educator, must identify and meet the current needs of each child no matter what they may be. Therefore, building rapport with all students at a deeper level is a must. Now, the reality is that as specialists, we know that we have 200 to 300 students that we teach each week. We see them for a very short time compared to other subject fields, and therefore the way of building these connections, collecting these data, and documenting ongoing learning process must be precise, instant, real, and authentic. Building from these videos, I would also like to emphasize the commonality they have in fostering the importance of curiosity. I'm sure that you, as young learners yourself, can empathize with our students when it comes to the fundamental need of sparking curiosity and how it instantly ignites intrinsic motivation in all types of learners to do well, to learn more, and to dive deeper into any given activity. Allowing students to take ownership of their learning will ultimately enhance their sense of collective responsibility and allow them the freedom to choose the depth and the means of learning and creativity. Curiosity is the fuel that drives the learning. It sparks exploration, inquiry, and discovery. Research shows that curious learners are more engaged, motivated, and retain information better. Holistic education nurtures and celebrates curiosity as a fundamental aspect of the learning journey. And might I pause here and say that we are in dire need of radical transformation of all traditional educational settings to a more holistic, creative environment that fosters curiosity through experiential learning. Experiential learning immerses students in hands-on activities and exercises that encourage exploration and discovery, whether it's through experiments, field trips, interdisciplinary or transdisciplinary projects, or even AI simulations. Experience learning ignites curiosity by making learning tangible and relevant to students' daily lives. One thing I really enjoyed as an educator is really setting the parameters of learning and then stepping back and seeing students deepening their learning by taking ownership of the direction of the journey that they want to embark on, as well as setting the depth of knowledge that they would like to expand on, both on a personal or even group level. In all schools that I've worked at, we provide Common Core mixability music classes, some CCA programs, ensembles, orchestras, bands, and some even provide one-to-one instrumental lessons too. Now, in our Common Core music classroom settings, as abilities and skills are already very diverse, from the moment a class enters the room, it is very apparent that some students have immense and versatile music skills and knowledges. However, some have little to none. Due to the amount of students that we have in each class and their varied background and prior music knowledge, when it comes to classroom music making, my concepts and beliefs have profoundly changed from when I first started my career in education and from what I was exposed to as a young learner. Now we strive for differentiated ways of teaching and learning that not only apply to the three categories of high, medium, and low abilities, but is also driven by interests, communities' needs, ways, means, and methods that are different from other groups, even within the same class or cohort. I have learned to evolve as an educator, to nudge, intrigue the learners, and then step back and allow curiosity, creativity, as well as community decision-making to take the lead. Schools, educators, and home environment must also come together with a child-centric approach that constantly updates, upgrades, and even elevates both the physical environment, the creative and intellectual programs we offer to the young learners. Subject-specific skills are now blended with social, emotional, character development skills, as well as promoting intellectual and critical thinking abilities, whilst fostering notions of global citizenship, eco-awareness, and nowadays even AI technology. Now, how do we do all that? Where, first of all, I personally choose to be in school environments and countries where innovation and creativity is not only appreciated, but encouraged and promoted. Secondly, I plan thoroughly and deliver current holistic ongoing spiral project-based curricula that match my student profiles, their needs and interests. And thirdly, I observe, give constant feedback to both individual and groups, but most importantly, I have learned to let go of the illusion of control. We cannot control the amount of deep learning that occurs within each learner, but we can and we must provide a safe space for experiential creative learning to take place, and then step back and watch the magic unfold. I focus on creating a combination of 5 transdisciplinary projects into one academic year, whilst providing a stimulating environment for learning, research, creativity, IT, and literacy skills, and of course music making to take place. IT and now AI is also a prominent factor in our current society, and therefore it is now part of our current experiential learning process too. Now, the 3 pillars I mentioned earlier, the individual student, 1-to-1, and then 1+1. What do they mean? Well, first, we have to recognize the individual. Every single student, their character, their way of thinking, their needs, their learning styles, even their current linguistic abilities. Then we work on a 1-to-1 level with them to assess their prior music knowledge, skills, and abilities, their current understanding based on the unit criteria, and then together with the student we plan ahead on how we can further develop their musicianship and interests in a more subject-specific manner. Finally, we look at their social, emotional abilities and character development. This area is called 1+2, sometimes it could be 1+3 or 1+5, depending on how big the group is. We then observe this individual and how they interact, connect, and inevitably how they co-create music compositions with others, how they share their thinking, and finally, how they come together in order to present their work. Now, none of the above could take place if there's no revamping of the current music curriculum. When it comes to curriculum itself, many schools are still driven by subject-specific standards and strands, teach to meet test criteria, and therefore have limitations on how to assess and evaluate students' ongoing process and holistic process. In music, for example, the strands could be music literacy, performance, composition, critical appreciation. That is often test-based driven too, therefore all students must have a similar answer, and there is little to no mention of any other development that that child or youth might be experiencing during these moments. So we're now seeing the fundamental need for urgent change and transformation to a more interconnected approach to teaching and learning of various subjects, topics, and themes. Our units are moving away from just skill-based narrow titles to wider umbrellas that allow experience and holistic learning to take place. We have the freedom to explore longer units of work in order to enhance and deepen the learning journey and experience for our students. We can allow the process of learning to take its own shape, and even 2 groups from the same class can use 2 different means of reaching the same strands of learning with similar or even completely different depth of learning. When we design these projects and activities, we ensure to tailor them based on the standards mentioned earlier, and our students need to show their learning via different means: musical composition, writing, performance, class participation, as well as adding strands that assess the process rather than the outcome of learning. We collect ongoing data in many forms, such as individual, class, or group videos, exit tickets, worksheets, posters. We have online portfolios, and we ensure to praise our students' efforts on an ongoing basis, note their progress, and set goals together with the learners for the units ahead. Now, when we start a new unit of work or project, students will be given the timeline, the title of the project, the task criteria, which we will then analyze as a class, followed by a group discussion, and then the young learners can set their own music and personal goal tailored around the learning objective and task criteria of that specific unit. Here are some examples of some fun work that students had to produce alongside their final presentations, which included more specific music skills and abilities. Each project will last for about 6 to 8 weeks, and within this time frame, we embark on a journey of exploration of concepts, tools, theory, history, technology, leadership or communication skills, and at the same time, ongoing reflection and project checks. Students get to showcase their work, they receive immediate feedback, and then they get to show their final work one last time before the end of unit self and peer reflection. This allows us to make connections to the next unit and intrinsically allows a flow of ongoing linear and spiral curriculum to exist. It is vital in such learning environments to keep a weekly track of each learner's profile in these 3 areas, both as an individual but also as a group member. We inevitably need to provide realistic and true data on each learner's ongoing process and progress of learning. Emotional intelligence, including self-awareness, empathy, and resilience, is crucial for personal growth and interpersonal relationships. Holistic education prioritizes the development of emotional intelligence through mindfulness practices, social emotional learning programs, and supportive classroom environments. Now, how do we collect ongoing data, evidence of learning, and capture creative thinking? Simple, by making it visual. Especially in music, once the sound is over, the image is gone, so we need to keep a track of it. We need to give it time and space to exist both in an individual, group, and classroom setting. For me personally, I have created my own music journal designs, and every school I enter, we establish norms with my students, which allow them to check in with their feelings at the start of each lesson. They can express themselves in an individual and/or group setting. We then follow on with some key questions and themes to explore throughout various hands-on activities. As we go along, we complete various forms of exit tickets that offer a quick check of current understanding of knowledge, whilst again allowing time for expression, creativity, self-reflection, and even high-order thinking and questioning to take place. We also have online portfolios and means of communicating and documenting these processes, as well as student-led conferences, where even primary school learners can share their learning journey with their family members. Making connections to real life is also vital when trying to foster curiosity, intrinsic learning, and ultimately love for lifelong learning. You can take a few standards, blend success criteria with social emotional goals, and allow projects to be expanded by the students themselves and their curiosity and interests. Allowing freedom of the direction of learning also enables the students to take ownership of their learning whilst fostering the sense of collective responsibility, co-teaching, and development. So, I guess the hardest challenge we have as holistic educators is making thinking visual, making the process of learning creative, and stepping back in order to observe and capture creative thinking in the making. By making learning visual, verbal, and giving it space to exist both in an individual, group, and classroom setting, we can then look back and see how the progress and process of each child's experiential learning unfolds. All in all, this is all I have to share with you today. Please reach out if any of the above resonates with you as an educator, and if you would like to share resources or practices, and maybe even set future collaborative projects together. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, Eftitia. It was interesting and inspiring. I would like now to open the discussion. If anybody feels free or interested in the issue, please feel free to ask the questions or just give us a comment or your personal associations to this presentation? Do we have some person? Maria, please take a word.
Thank you, Bojana. Thank you, FT, for your inspiring video presentation about your work in Shanghai. Well, I would like to ask, how challenging is it to train today's teachers to become holistic educators?
That's actually a very good question, Maria, because a lot of our teachers, even the young teachers at university, they're still taught the repeat after me, write what I write, do what I said, I'm the teacher. So it takes some time for teachers to A, see the benefits of this way of teaching, and B, to make sure it's an internalized change from the teacher. It's not, I have to do it because the head of department said it. So my first school here in China, in Hangzhou, about 6 years ago, one teacher just kept observing my classes. We were kind of co-teaching. And I think 2.5 years later, one day, Grace turned around and said to me, FT, I just realized what you're doing. So it really takes time, because it's not easy to ask even musicians or artists to teach in a creative way. Usually we will say, copy this, whatever you see, copy that. But it's much harder to broaden the questions and allow the students to take ownership of their learning. I think that's the hardest part, to let go of the illusion of control and let the children explore, have fun, make mistakes, try again, get some feedback, try again. Yeah. Thank you, Maria.
Yes, I would like just to make a comment. I'm delighted with this presentation. I come from a field that is part of applied arts. I'm teaching art conservation, which is really somehow specific, very multidisciplinary, and this holistic way that you talked about is something that is really, I think, the only way to teach maybe what I'm teaching. So I come from a long career of professional conservator, and then just relatively recently I became a teacher. So for me, what you said, I'm learning from your presentation, and really I would like to thank you. This is fantastic. I mean, somehow intuitively I understand, and something I recognize that I already apply, but to see it so well structured, and this is, I would like just to say thank you for this wonderful presentation. It's really inspiring. Thank you.
Thank you, yeah. Thank you for sharing.
I also want to say thank you. It was very good to hear what is your full concept, and you try to explain us through your video and to show the part of your teaching and teaching materials, especially teachers' portfolio, as I understood. So we have the same approach in our classes, and it is very valuable to collect materials and to put it in the methodical context. And also this, what we saw now, it could be example of the good approach, contemporary approach, and a very valuable approach that see children in integral, holistic way. So I will share your presentation to my students. Most of them are here now, and thank you again.
Thank you for the opportunity. to allow us to share our passion, our work, and our vision. And honestly, the hardest part is not the teaching, but is to respect each country's national curriculum and then blend it with new ideas, new methodologies, turn them into projects, and let the children take over. Yeah. So thank you for allowing us to share what we do.
Maria, you were interested in asking something, okay?
Yes, greetings, Eftikhia. I wanted to ask you something because I had some experience in China working with students aged 7 and 8 years old, and on that occasion we had permission to transform 4 subjects into a single one, and thus we had so much more time to work with the students. We combined art, ecology, geography, and engineering into one project that took 2 months to complete. At the end of the project, the students participated in a model competition at the city level, where each student sent its group of students. And it was incredible the way in which the 7 and 8 years old approached the given problem of designing the ecological city of the future, which was the whole project, with the presentation on what they had learned and on the components of the creative work itself that they did. It was a completely different level of research and creative ability of those students, and a different level of seriousness with which they approached the problem. So I'm interested in what your experiences are regarding the students' behavior and their approach to the given task and the problem that is presented to them. What are the experiences in moving those groups of children to all work together? Because I've noticed that there is a huge difference in what's happening in Serbian classroom and there in China.
That's actually, a very good point. The hardest thing is that our classes are 18 and more children. In Singapore, I worked in a classroom setting with 44 boys. It was an all-boys school, so maximum was 44, minimum was 38 kids. So everybody is very unique, very individual. So what I tend to do, because as a musician, we see 200-300 children each week, I am very methodological. So, for example, if we're going to do a project, we break up into 5 groups, for example, depending on how many kids you have, and everybody has a job in the group. So usually I have a leader, a communicator, a writer, and an organizer, again, depending on how big the group is. So through the last decade, I've worked from the UK, Cyprus, Singapore, China. And yes, children are very different, depending on their nationality, their home environment, their feeling of that day, So I found out that the biggest guarantee to ignite this intrinsic motivation is me. So if I'm consistent and the children, every time they come to my room, I'm always, not always the same, but they know, they come in, they sit this way, I have these expectations, and I have high expectations. Usually the first 2-3 weeks of every academic year, I work on building rapport with as many kids as possible. So I think once we do that, if we're consistent and we have rapport, it shouldn't matter if I have a classroom that has some children from Serbia, some children from Cyprus, some children from China, or all of them are from Singapore, because the children know, okay, when I go to Miss Gavril's or Mr. X or Mr. Y's classroom, I should show this, I should raise to the occasion. So it's a combination of consistency, us teachers elevating our status to educators, and then being able to give the ownership to the child. The moment they know, okay, if you explain to them, I can advise you, I can push you, but at the end of the day, you have to make the choice to try, So once you have that rapport and you can have these conversations with them. It doesn't matter if they're 7 years old, 14 or 18, or even university. So one of my favorite projects that we did with Professor Alex Ruthman maybe 5 years ago, we had children from year 1, 6 years old, year 7, so 13 years old, and first year of university. And we paired them up and we did groups with school students, university students, and it was phenomenal to see that a year 1 was teaching a university student how to code, you know? So the moment we give these opportunities, children can surprise us. Yeah.
Thank you so much for your answer.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you. We should now stick to our time frame, and I would like to, of course, we can prolong this discussion after on a personal contact. Now I would like to announce our last presenter for this session. This is Sevgihan Eyubova, PhD, Associate Professor, Developmental and Educational Psychology. And the second author is Anna Laskarova-Ivanova, PhD, Lecturer, Fine Arts Pedagogy, Faculty of Education, Episcop Konstantin Preslavsky University, Shumen, Bulgaria. So we give you our attention, please.
Dear all, it's a great pleasure to present you our research on exploring children's artistic expression with the kit art method for comprehensive drawing analysis. My name is Sevgihan Eyubova and I'm a professor in child and adolescent developmental psychology. The other co-author is Dr. Anna Laskarova-Ivanova. She is a lecturer at Department of Fine Arts and Pedagogy. Together, we are working at the biggest educational faculty in Bulgaria, which is in Shumen University. The content of the presentation is divided in 4 parts. First one is introduction. The second one is presenting the research problem and review of relevant literature. And the third is presenting the method that we use in our research, the kit art. And last part is devoted to the research results and discussion. Artistic expression is an essential aspect of child development, providing a means for children to communicate their thoughts, feelings, and experiences. Drawing in particular is a common form of artistic expression among children, allowing them to express their creativity and imagination. Regarding research problem and review of relevant literature, we find a huge pool of literature on the subject and a variety of drawing evaluation tools. Knowledge of child development, art and pedagogy, and also good methodological preparation regarding the application of fine arts in the period of preschool education are necessary. Interpreting children drawings can be challenging for students who are making their first steps in the primary school education. But also interpreting children's drawing can be challenging for professionals working with young children, such as educators and psychologists. Regarding primary school period, we divide the group and expressive skills in drawing in 4 groups, which are similar to the group of primary school educational settings in Bulgaria. The first group consists children who are 3 to 4 years old. Usually in their drawings we can see that they use 1 to 2 colors, and their drawings are with linear arrangement of elements in the composition. There are presence of at least 1 figure with partial detailing, 1 additional element such as house or sun, and basic emotional direction in the drawing, conveying positive or mixed emotions during the process of drawing. The second group includes children from 4 to 5 years old. The third group from 5 to 6, and the fourth last group is the group of children from 6 to 7 years old. The differences in group are linked to the use of the number of colors, the compositional distribution, the number of the plane that they use, and also the space, how they use the space in the drawing. Of course, they are with the age, we can see that the figures are more detailed, and also we can see that the number of additional elements is becoming more and more complex. That's why we decide to develop a specific tool and a method for comprehensive drawing analysis for preschool stage, because we think that this could improve the educational practice at the university. Our method is called the KitArt. The name is an acronym from the word Kids Drawing Analysis and Rating Tool. And the aim of this tool is to provide both qualitative and quantitative assessment of children's artwork. The KitArt is consisted from 8 scales, each with specific evaluation criteria and with detailed descriptive analysis of the drawing elements, and this could provide quantitative evaluation. Regarding the 8 scale in KitArt, there are colors, compositional distribution, the presence of human or animal figures, additional elements, expressiveness and fantasy, techniques and materials, emotional expressiveness, and attitude toward the drawing process. The sample is consisted from the drawings of 45 children between the age of 38 to 95 months, with the mean age 70 months, and there are 19 boys and 26 girls. The total score that we obtained from the KitArt was from 25 to 45, with a mean of 36.04, and the Kronbach alpha was 0.65, indicating moderate internal consistency. Discussion regarding the KitArt. So we are starting with limitation, which is linked to the moderate internal consistency, and we need to review our tool, and maybe we will exclude one of the scales in order to improve the psychometric features of the KitArt, and further analysis are needed to fully interpret the results. But one of the positive aspects in using KitArt is building competency in students, because this tool provides knowledge on child development, on the development of psychology and art pedagogy as well. The possibilities that are linked to the using of such a tool are to identify potential psychological concerns in regard to children drawings, and also to provide quick feedback to parents, teachers, and other professionals who are working with children. KitArt could be a valuable tool for teaching and for assessing art skills and competency, not only in children but also in university students, and could be used for report writing and tracking the progress. Thank you for your attention. Благодарим ви за вниманието.
Thank you, ladies, for this interesting presentation. I would now like to open discussion. If anybody is interested to say something or comment, please feel free now. Okay, Maria.
Yeah, congratulations on the tool that you created to measure the scales for the kids. I'm enthusiastic to use such a scale, such as tools. And I would like to ask you if this tool, the Kids Art tool, can be integrated, let's say, in a school curriculum in order with the teachers to have the results, in order to see our kids' emotions, behaviors, or developmental, let's say, picture.
Thank you for your question. Firstly, we developed this tool in order to use it in preschool years, and we are thinking about to include it in the school settings because there are many questions from teacher in our country. We have presented this tool in other conferences, including in speech pathologist conference and also to teacher conferences as well. And now we are presenting to colleagues who are keen to the art pedagogy. Yes, we are thinking about that, but we need to make and to include more data in order to be psychometric, in order to meet psychometric features like reliability as well. And we are thinking about to exclude some of the scales and to collect more data. So this is our first time to present the method in English. But we are thinking that the language of children drawings, we think that we can include it as well in school setting.
Congratulations. Yeah, we need it in our schools. Thank you.
We will share. I think we can share the tool freely to researchers all around the world.
That will be amazing. Thank you so much for your work.
Thank you.
We still have some time, maybe a minute or two. So if anybody likes to comment or say something more. Okay, Sanya. Who is that?
Yes, it's me, Brian. It's me. I also want to thank you for sharing your methods and instruments. They are very valuable for us who are half in theory, half in practice. So we always have problem when we have some hypothesis and we don't have enough instruments to investigate kids' art and kids' expressions. So this is really very valuable, and I want to thank you if you share to us specific parts of this instrument. We can try it with our students and we can share our first results, so maybe it will be also valuable to see what we are doing and to include the drawings from kids from Serbia that we are working with them mostly through our methodic practice. Thank you very much.
Thank you all, dear participants. We heard many different voices from many different fields of work, and it was very diverse and interesting, and as we share together, very valuable for us. Now we are at the end of this session. It is 12:15. And we will have some pause, 10 minutes. So, Sanya, you want to add something? Okay,
Yes.
let's continue.
Yes, just about what we plan to do. If you want to be the part of session 2, I speak to our international colleagues, we can give you some flexible translation on English through working session. So thank you for your participating, and if you're still with us, we will try to translate some points of discussions. And now we will have a little pause, 10 minutes until I think 12:30, and then we start with the session, second part of session 1. Okay. Thank you to all.